Hello, my name is Titus Sharpe, and I'm here today to talk to you about the future of customer generation. So I want to talk about our core product, and this is what we do. So MVF's value proposition, we generate sales-ready leads with a very high propensity to purchase. And recently in 2015, we did a private equity deal with a company called Bridgepoint, and they did a whole load of due diligence on us. And the thing they found about MVF that was different to the market was the combination of volume and quality. So the quality of new customers that we're generating, some of our clients, was profound. And that combination really set us apart from the market. One of the other things that MVF is different for is its global reach. We have a huge skill set within multiple languages with MVF. So how do we do this? How do we generate these massive volumes of sales-ready leads for a whole variety of big corporates around the world? First of all, we have a whole variety of different digital brands in different sectors. So we invest very heavily in these digital brands, we put content on there, we make them look at great user experience for people visiting those brands. We've also very, very deep knowledge across all the digital channels, from Twitter to Pinterest to native to programmatic. You know, we cover all the different channels, all the different digital channels, and that gives us a unique proposition. Another thing, obviously, we've got very deep into big data, a lot of data science going on within MVF. And also we have our own proprietary tech stack. And last year, we actually generated over 8 million sales-ready leads that we distributed to our clients across the globe. So we work in a variety of different sectors, all these different sectors here, as you can see. But I want to explain how our digital brands work. So we take this lady, say she's called Carrie. She is looking for a CRM system, and we will target her across all the different channels. Again, it could be Pinterest, it could be Instagram, it could be Twitter, it could be programmatic, it could be native, whatever channel it is. We'll target her based on her digital footprint. And she will come to one of our sites. This is our site Expert Market. You see we have lots of these sites across different sectors. And then she will likely convert on that site, and then she'll come through our tech stack, and then we'll pass her on to a client. And a client of ours would be someone like Salesforce, who we work with all around the world. So that's the kind of how our digital brands work. One thing about MVF that I think is quite unique in the marketplace is we're very, very global. We have global clients, and we service them all around the world. And here's some examples of about 1,000 clients that we've got to give you a sort of quick intro to some of our client base. Also, it's interesting, one thing that we did when we went through our due diligence process last year is we did a whole load of analysis. And what we found was we actually have a very similar sort of client dynamic to a SaaS business. We get 96% retention, so we have an incredibly sticky client base at MVF. And we operate all around the world in 120 countries, so very, very global business. And there's not really anyone else like us in the world doing this. Another great thing about MVF, we had a phenomenal growth over the last 7 years since we started. And we started actually, we were a bootstrap business. We put in a 100K loan, and we grew it. And in 2014, we're actually the fastest growing business recognized by the tech track, and we came #1 in the tech track in 2014. And then last year, 2015, we did a top 10 UK tech deal with Bridgepoint, as I mentioned before. And just this last year, we came #4 in the best companies to work for. And that's probably actually the accolade I'm most proud of, is that #4. We obviously want to try and be #1. And so we've had a great history of growth across the business, and that is very, very much set into the business, and we're seeing great growth right now. So I want to talk very quickly about where we are. So we're at 60 million run rates. We've got 350 staff. 20% of our revenues are US. Where are we going? In 2020, we want to get to 200 million revenues, 1,000 staff, and 40% US revenues. And we're seeing, at the moment, our US operation out of Austin is actually the fastest growing component of our business. We're seeing huge growth in the US. Excellent client traction. And we're looking to become one of the European unicorns by 2020. And there's 4 key strategic drivers that we're pushing to drive us to that next growth phase. So obviously we've got our current sectors, and we want more sales and more marketing in those sectors. We want to develop new sectors, and we're very, very, very focused on our new sector process and how we enter new markets. We've got a lot of M&A activity on the moment. We're set to announce about 3 deals in the next sort of 6 months, with more in the pipeline as well. And obviously, the US expansion is very critical to our growth. And I think there's just, in the US alone, there's probably 3 or 4 domestic markets that we can double our turnover just off those domestic markets alone. So huge, huge opportunity in the US, and we're getting great traction there in that market. I want to just finish on some trends that I see that I'm very excited by, that we're investigating within the business, that I feel some of them, not all of them will work, but some of them I think will be kind of at the forefront of where we'll get to in 2020, and some of them obviously hopefully will have been implemented and executed within the business. So first of all, I want to talk about some of our digital brands. I want to talk about voice search strategy, and I think the interesting thing, obviously, the rise of voice search has been massive, and we see the trend continuing. But I think particularly where Google's change in the rich snippets that it allows you to put into the organic SERPs, I think it's fascinating seeing how that will actually impact on voice search, the rich snippet relationship with voice search. And so we're looking very deeply into that, and obviously spending a lot of time focusing on rich snippets. Mobile monetization strategy, I think we're still seeing cheats being cheaper on mobile than they are on desktop, but we can get our monetization higher. So there's definitely a sort of an opportunity in mobile still that I think lots of companies can access and find cheaper CPAs across the mobile networks than across the sort of more traditional desktop networks. And obviously, what we're seeing in the organic space is very much the complexity of the Google algorithm is getting so complex that not even the Google engineers can understand what is going on with our algorithm. And, you know, really it comes down to a brilliant content strategy. We call it 10x content in the business. So you've got to make your content 10 times better than the competitors to make sure that the algorithm knows that you've got the best content, and it will automatically choose your content because you have very low bounce rates. You've got great user interaction on the site when they're reading that content. So it's all about 10x content for us. And this is becoming a trend that we're really sort of investing a lot of time and money into, particularly a sort of historic content that's been great for us, but we've got to develop it further. Next up, I want to talk about our sort of AI lab. 2 of the founders at MVF are first-class degrees in artificial intelligence. It's a very part of our DNA. We are very interested. We're just building our sort of Redshift data deposits at the moment, and on top of that, we're building a predictive lead scoring system where we are looking at all the different signals that the leads have got and trying to predict the actual quality of those inquiries coming into all the different businesses that we serve, so that we can have less human touch points, because we're currently in a couple of sectors we have human touch points. So we want to take that out, and obviously we want to serve only the high quality leads that we're generating from across the digital channels. We want to serve only the best to our clients and cut out the worst ones. Another trend that we've spent quite a lot of time experimenting on is AI-driven CRM, where things like sort of using AI to predict the best time of day to send emails out, to predict actual titles and actually writing your titles as well, which is a fascinating trend that we're seeing some success in. And then the other area of AI that we're investigating is cross-channel optimization, so they're automatically spending more where you're seeing lower CPAs occur on a channel over there than a channel over there, and you're automatically diverting spend to those lower CPAs or those higher quality sources as well. So that's another trend that we're looking into, and hopefully we'll roll that out across the business. And finally, I want to talk about our new channels team. So we spend a lot of time looking at all the digital channels and working out which ones work for which sectors. And I think the fascinating area that's seen huge uplifts in traffic from is in the image-driven search category. I think the likes of Pinterest. What we find on Pinterest is it's got huge, the propensity to purchase on Pinterest is so high. And so there's this huge, the wealthy people that are looking to purchase at that point. So there's these things that you see occurring across the different channels, and image-driven commerce has been big for us this last year. Chat app advertising, we're really just setting out on that journey now, but I think it's going to be massive in the future. And then I want to touch on, finally, one last thing is one-to-one advertising. And I think there's some really interesting changes, particularly in LinkedIn's new platform. They've done it so you can do absolutely micro-targeting. You can get down to the individual company and the individual role in a company now, so you can do completely micro-targeting, which is absolutely fantastic. And also Facebook, you can do total micro-targeting as well. You can get down to the individual. And also on Sky IQ, you can get down to the individual as well. So you can create a very, very tailored message, and we're doing quite a lot of activity in that area there. So there's a whole variety of things that we're doing behind the scenes that maybe, most people think, lead generation, how sexy can that be? But there's a whole lot of science that goes on at MVF that we invest very heavily in. So that's MVF. Thank you very much.